Let's try the chorus. I know where I'm going, and I know who's gone with me. I know who I love, but the dear knows who I'll marry. So the folks that are here have already gone through the test at the door. You get a sheet of paper, a set of descriptions of songs, quite lurid. They could have been written by someone who works for National Enquirer or so. Gaudy. And there's a raffle ticket. You take off half the raffle ticket, like that, and they put it in the box. And if you get your number called, you tell me which song is the description that you like on this sheet of paper that you've got. Did you all get that at home? I'm not doing it again. That's it. That's your last chance.
We got it.
You got it? Okay. I'm just going to read the last three numbers. And the lucky winner tonight is, so far, 971.
I would love us to start with some sex, some Irish sex, a description of sex in a Dublin Park.
I know him. He's from Ireland. A description of sex is good enough. You know. In Dublin, and that man I like very much, a great writer and monologuist, is Jonathan Lynn. Now he'll know this better than I, but not because there's prostitutes involved, but he knows the city of Dublin, and seemingly the Phoenix Park is a walled park, and I'm only told this now, that you can go and pick up girls at the park. Now how do you pick up a girl who's behind a wall? I don't know. They figure it out somehow. And this song I learned from Dominic Behan, who's Brendan Behan's young brother. Anyway, enough of that. It's absolutely full of nonsense, but kind of naughty as well. It's got a chorus if you want to get at it. We might as well get at it right now. You had to pay to get in. If you don't sing, you'll have to pay to get out. Here's the chorus. Thunder and lightning, it's no lark when Dublin City is in the dark. If you have any money, go up to the park and view the zoological gardens. All together. We went there on our honeymoon. Says she to me, if you don't come soon, I'll need to get in with the hairy baboon up in the zoological gardens. Thunder and lightning, it's no lark when Dublin City is in the dark. If you have any money, go up to the park and view the zoological gardens. Women have always been fascinating to me, and that fascination has found its way into stories and songs, and that is why I'm going to keep on singing about them forever. And there's a wee story I'm going to tell you before it starts. It's about how people view themselves. This woman had something I don't believe in. See, I don't have a religion, so I can say what the hell I like. And this woman had an afterlife experience. Is that what you call it? You're waking up, she thinks she's dead, but she's not. And she's facing God. And God is a woman from Glasgow. Now, I know that for a fact. And she faces God and she says, well, is that it? And God, who's from Glasgow, says, no. You've got another 40 years and 8 months to go. Way back and enjoy life. Oh, great. She wakes up in the hospital. She says to the surgeon, do you have a system here of surgery to improve looks? Oh, yeah, we're the tops in Scotland. I want everything done. I'm very rich. I'll pay for everything. She has everything done from her toes right up to her head. She even has her hair done. And now the thing, I'm not going to describe the body parts because the men will start to salivate. So she gets everything done and she walks out of the hospital, a new woman, perfect. She gets hit by an ambulance and killed. And this time she does end up right in front of God. And she says to God, hey, you said I had another 40 years and 8 months to go. Why did you let that ambulance kill me right outside the hospital? God looks and says, oh shit, I didn't recognize you. sent for a farmer, I phoned the other day. The farmer took enough of time a coming. I sent for a farmer, sorry for to say. A farmer never came, they sent a woman. But our cows were and our sows were the very best, the top of all the bidding. All I did was ask her, is your father home in bed? It was then that she threw me in the midden. Well, I prayed to God Almighty, I prayed to him that day. And God Almighty took enough of time a coming. I prayed to God Almighty, then glory, glory. When God Almighty came, he was a woman. She viewed me, she howdy-doed me. She said, listen son, it's plain that you're no learning, so I'm sending you back to earth again. And this time you're coming back as a woman. Oh my God, I'm coming back as a woman.
For number 10, a woman fails to kill her husband in a hilarious manner.
And some men deserve to be killed, by the way. Well, there's one wee guy, he's a pain in the neck in Glasgow. I tell stories about him and his wife. His name is Charlie. His wife's name's Aggie. Aggie's a nice person, but Charlie's a right runt, honestly. And you know the warning bells come up when a marriage is in danger. Here's the warning bell. He comes in and he says to Aggie, do you not think it's time we had separate holidays? Ding-a-ling-a-ling. There go the warning bells right there. He's up to something. You know that. We all know that. She says, well, I don't mind. So off he goes, comes back in a week, says, I had a great time, Aggie. I played golf every day. 3 guys, they call themselves pros, by the way. One's Ernie Els from South Africa, a black guy, Tiger or something, he's called for the USA, and a wee left-hander, Mike Weir from Canada. Beat them every day, took a pound off them every game. Nay bother, it was brilliant, great time. That's nice, Charlie. What did you do? I went to a camp. A camp? At your age? Yeah. What kind of camp was it? A naturist camp. What's that? You go as nature intended. What? You were standing naked? I had an instructor. An instructor? And you're standing there naked? What did he say about your big fat bum? Charlie, your name was never mentioned. Now this song has a chorus, but I can never remember it until I get to it, and it's just nonsense, ta-ra-la-la and all that kind of stuff. So this is a woman. 'Twas in the town o' Kelso a lovely woman did dwell. Oh, she loved her husband tenderly, and another man twice as well, singing faddle-leery, 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 and she went down to the druggist's shop, some medicine for to buy, but she'd resolved in her own mind that her husband he would die, singing faddle-leery, 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 and there she bought some marrow bones, ground them very small, and afore he had the half of them eaten, he couldn't see any at all, singing faddle-leery, 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 and
Number 2, some women get hurt by surviving.
one night I was coming home and they were washing the pigeon dung off the statues in George Square, paying particular attention to a memorial statue there. And I half heard and half made up what the women were saying to one another. Because I know some of the women worked with my mother. She was an office cleaner for a while. And some of these women would work scrubbing the statues at the cenotaph. It's called The Widows of War. I walked round by the town, down by the square, and by the memorial some women were there. In looking at some of the songs, what really interested me is that the audience put up with some really basic flaws in that a woman is less of a woman if she's not married. She's an old maid. I mean, a woman might be 22 and unmarried. She's an old maid. Ridiculous, isn't it? See, I'm an old man now, so I know this is true. But when I was young, I used to drink before I was supposed to. I used to drink in the Hayburn Vaults in Partick, and I had my pals watch the door in case my dad came from the tramway depot from a union meeting and caught me in there. So I'd sit, and I always listened when I was there on my own or with somebody that was interested in this, and listen to the old men talking. You know what they were talking about? Women. And they were all liars. Every one of them. They all said what fantastic lovers they had been when they were young. Outrageous. But they were really interesting to listen to. And so I wrote this song in memory of these guys, not about the actual place, and it's called Tales of a Favourite Lass. They sit by the fire in a dockside pub. There's a whiskey near each hand. Some have stayed and others strayed overseas to exotic lands. The chat goes around and the crack is fierce with a pause just to fill a glass. As the fire cools down, all the old men warm to tales of their favourite lass, and they marry and go as the years go by. Some stayed single and some died, and they talk of the passion but never of love, and no man admit that he cried. Life has done this to women, therefore it's in songs. Songs don't change life. They don't reflect life accurately, but they are footnotes to life. The story is, it's called The Lichtbob's Lass, and how it was told to me is a lichtbob was a description of an English soldier, one of the invaders of Scotland. And they had red tunics, and they had brass, shiny buttons. A button is called a bob. A licht is called a light, so it's a light shining from a button. Buttons, for most people, were made either of bone or wood. So they were pretty flashy guys. Now she leaves town with this invading soldier. Why? Well, you know, if you look around, she's been in this town, she's got no hope of anything. She's not allowed to work. The only thing is marriage, and she's seen all the geeks in town and she doesn't fancy any one of them. So in comes this handsome devil, shiny buttons and all, and he's been places and he's going places, and she is going with him. That's the whole story. And she's called the Lichtbob's Lassie. It's a bit of an insult, but she doesn't mind. She just likes being his. Let's try the chorus. I know where I'm going, and I know who's gone with me. I know who I love, but the dear knows who I'll marry. First when I come to this tune, they caught me young and bonny. I but knew they've changed my name. They call me the Lichtbob's honey. First when I come to the tune, how they caught me bricht and cheery, but knew they've changed my name. They call me the Lichtbob's dearie. I know where I'm going, and I know who's gone with me. I know who I love, but the dear knows who I'll marry. Oh, but my back is sore, wi' shearing Craigie's corn. They say I'll see him nae mair, Och, but I'll see him the morn, oh, and he'll come whistling Ben, and he'll be bright and cheery, and he'll roll me in his arms, my bonny licht Bob dearie. I know where I'm going, and I know who's gone with me. I know who I love, but the dear knows who I'll marry. My fascination is clearly shared with both men and women in the audience. They are absolutely enthralled by the stories and songs. And this account was given to me by an Irish fella, and it's a kind of comic. I hope it's comic. If it's funny, laugh. I'll know it's comic then if you laugh. It's great. And one night as I sat in me window, a letter man came unto me, and he brought me a fine invitation, inviting meself round to tea. I could tell it was Hooligans scented, and I went there for old friendship's sake. But the thing that they gave me to tackle was Mrs. Hooligan's Christmas cake. There were plums, peaches and cherries, cinnamon, orange and lemons there too, apples, pears and berries, and the top it was stuck on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, and it would give you a fine toothache, and it would kill a man twice to be eating a slice of Mrs. Hooligan's Christmas cake. Now Mulligan wanted to try it, oh, but really it was no use. They worked at it for nearly an hour and couldn't pry anything loose. Mulligan went for the hatchet, Hooligan went for the saw, and in attempting to smash it, they broke the hatchet and Mulligan's left jaw. There were plums and peaches and cherries, cinnamon, orange and lemons there too, apples, pears and berries, and the top it was stuck on with glue. There were caraway seeds in abundance, it would give you a fine toothache, and it would kill a man twice to be eating a slice of Mrs. Hooligan's Christmas cake. A little man who worked for the army, a soldier or some such like, he came in with a small box of matches and a large stick of red jelly night. We retired 5 paces, maybe 7, and we watched as a few's flames erased. The house rose upwards to heaven. The confection remained in its place. Let's try the chorus. I know where I'm going, and I know who's gone with me. I know who I love, but the dear knows who